Oh, we could watch a Summoning Salt video. Blindfolded Mario. Wait, that could be kind of fun. I'm good.
Super Mario 64. One of the most iconic speedruns of all time.
I just fucking love SM64, so I'm glad he's back to doing videos about it. I thought he was done forever because he did one already.
Top level runs are beautiful. There's incredible movement, bizarre glitches, and awesome tricks. It all adds up to a super popular speedrun, giving Mario 64 the impressive legacy it has. But
Yeah,
I've got a secret to share. All the gameplay you've just seen was performed with a blindfold on. This might sound too insane to be real, but for the past several years, players have been trying to speedrun Super Mario 64 without looking at the screen.
How can you trust it?
How is this possible? How do you take a three-dimensional game and not only play it with your eyes closed, but
How can someone hit 3 throws blindfolded and Clint Stevens can't hit one with his eyes wide open? That can't be true. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't track with my knowledge.
practically make it look easy? Let's take a journey inside the minds of some of speedrunning's most impressive players. Welcome to the world of Blindfolded Mario 64. Blindfolded speedruns aren't a new concept. For years, blindfolded runs have been a staple at Games Done Quick events, and runners have even grinded at home to optimize blindfolded world records. But those were usually for simpler games. Compare that to Mario 64, with its 3D gameplay and wide open levels. Getting consistency with this seemed out of the question, and for many years, nobody bothered trying. But then, we arrive in 2017, when the main character of our story comes onto the scene. Meet Bubzia.
That's 20 years after the release of the game before we even begin to do real blindfolded runs. Recent? I guess, wow.
Bubzia had seen players like Runner Guy 2489 and 360 Chrism play blindfolded 3D games before, and it inspired him to see what he could do in Super Mario 64. Bubzia started by figuring out a few basic stars blindfolded.
Aware 2024 it was 0 years ago. Guys, you want to feel old? 2024 was 0 years ago. Yikes. Yikes, dude. It's coming for you. Time comes for us all.
From there, he expanded to the rest of the game. He slowly built up his skills throughout 2017. And finally, by October, he was ready to try for the first full game completion of blindfolded Super Mario 64. Here's how he did it. First off, this was a 16-star run of the game. Collecting at least 70 stars is the intended glitchless route, but that was not going to happen with a blindfold on. Instead, Bubzia performed a popular speedrunning route. Collect 16 of the easiest stars, then tackle a couple glitches to skip to the last stage.
How do you do it blindfolded, though?
That was much more manageable than going for 70 stars. Right from Bubzia's first inputs, you can see his general strategy. He ran forward until he heard Mario hit the wall, then turned right and kept going. It was slow, but these inputs were hard to mess up, and he eventually made it to the cutscene.
Right.
In Bob on Battlefield, Bubzia worked on getting to the top of the mountain for the first star. He used the camera angles to his advantage. He'd run forward till he hit an object, then carefully adjusted the camera and kept moving forward. This normalized his movement and lined him up so he'd always end up running to the same place every time. After gradually inching his way up the slope, he got to use audio techniques on the boss. He backflipped to pick him up, then counted the audio of Mario's footsteps to know when he was in the middle. This lined him up so he was perfectly underneath the star when it spawned. Bubzia ended up collecting 3 stars in Bob on Battlefield, and they all followed the same idea. Very simple and safe setups to reliably work his way through the map. He then headed to Womp's Fortress, where he ultimately picked up 5 more stars. He used a plethora of strategies to get these. Slowly backflip.
I think Spectacore did Blindfolded Hitman recently. I don't know if it was one level or all the levels, but he had to do like so many insane memorizations and audio things.
Up the long ramp, running from wall to wall, and even using a bit of muscle memory. His setups were so normalized that whenever something went slightly off script, he usually couldn't recover and either died or restarted. This happened 9 times throughout Mom's Fortress. Bubsy continued through the game, slowly but surely collecting stars. While a lot of his strategies looked safe, they required an unbelievable amount of memorization and skill to do blindfolded.
Impressive.
None were harder than the Bowser stages. He needed inside-out knowledge of the level to ensure he could platform without looking.
Yeah, I mean, they're hard to get through without...
He had a clever strategy for the Bowser fight itself.
Without being blindfolded.
By constantly letting go and re-grabbing his tail, Mario gradually moves forward. Eventually, you'll collide with the bomb, and skip having to somehow aim a Bowser throw without being able to see.
That makes sense. How did they get the actual
throws? After an hour
throws?
and 25 minutes, Bubsy had collected 15 stars.
Someone said men used to go to war. Achilles of looking down on this guy. What happened? What happened?
He had a precise setup to grab Mips the rabbit, and then counted Mario's footsteps to know when to turn through the hallways. To clip through the doors, Bubsy had more setups that involved re-grabbing Mips repeatedly. They worked, and Bubsy was through both doors after a few minutes.
That's impressive.
But then, he arrived at the hardest part of the entire run. Bowser in the Fire Sea. There are so many cycles, moving objects, and obstacles all over the place that even with the best setups, Bubsy couldn't consistently make it through. He had a few smart strategies to help. By listening to silly kicks, he could tell where the platform was in its cycle. A longer distance between each kick meant it was moving down.
Oh, that's so interesting.
And a shorter distance meant it was moving up.
He's a fucking bat.
Later
dude.
on,
he's
by
echolocating.
backflipping onto this box, Bubsy knew that even if he took damage in the lava, he was lined up with the heart so he could recover. Safe strategies like these helped, but it still took Bubsy nearly an hour to get through Fire Sea, with 11 deaths along the way.
An hour on one level.
He cleared the level, and after 2.5 hours, he was in the home stretch. Next up were backwards long jumps, and there was no big secret to doing these blindfolded. He just had to line up and hope his mashing got him through the door and up the stairs.
Alright, I guess the same.
And finally, Bowser in the Sky. It's quite similar to Fire Sea in that there's several cycles you have to deal with. The hardest being the 2 elevators right at the very end.
Yeah.
But thanks to a combination of backflips, audio cues, and normalization setups, Bubsy made it through after 3 deaths. The final Bowser fight requires
This is
3
very
throws.
impressive, but in my mind it would be so boring to be blindfolded for 3 hours. I don't know. I feel like it would just... Maybe it's brain rot.
And Bubsy's strategy for the first 2 was letting Bowser run at him, then dropping him right into the bomb. But that's not an option for throw 3. So, he had to just randomly spin Bowser and hope he hit a bomb.
Atrtioc when he hears of blind people. You know what? I guess it's a fair point. All right? I guess it's a fair point. But for me, I just think if I were put on a blindfold and sit there not being able... You don't have anything to react to visually. I'm used to using visual react.
Random throw away from history being made.
First try, baby!
Okay, calm down, I need to connect the star. Calm down, guys, calm down, guys.
Calm down, chat.
Please, man, please. It should be to the left. 2 backflips or 1 backflip. No, 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 that's not good, that's not good. We did it!
Yeah! I was here! I was here!
Bubsy had shocked the world. He could literally beat Super Mario 64 with his eyes closed. Probably one of the craziest gaming achievements ever. Now, his run did take over 3 hours, and he either died or restarted 33 times across the game. There was room for optimization, if Bubsy so desired, but he didn't. He was the only person in the world capable of doing this, and he was happy to move on with his life. But little did Bubsy know,
works.
While he was working on his 16-star run, there was another player on the other side of the world doing the exact same thing, Z-Surf. Neither player knew of the other's existence, and Bubsy's completed run came as a big surprise to Z-Surf.
Sucks for him.
He was still working on individual stars. This other guy was way ahead of him. But Z-Surf wasn't deterred. He talked with Bubsy, learning some of his strategies while improving on his own. He found different routes to take and ways he could complete certain stars faster. By the time he started full game runs in early 2018, he was a much improved player. Z-Surf ended up beating Bubsy's run by a few minutes on February 2nd.
Oh, interesting.
And a month later,
I thought it'd be by a lot.
He took a full hour off the world record.
Go. Okay.
Mario 64 completed Blindfolded in an hour and 58 minutes. A big part of the improvement was the fact that Z-Surf...
The early runs of a new speedrun, because the time losses are gigantic and there's like, the route hasn't been figured out yet. So there's a lot of like innovation. It's really fun.
Z-Surf simply died less than Bubsy. He had to restart just 15 times across the run, compared to Bubsy's 33. But his route through the game was also quicker. For one thing, he opted to collect both Peach Slide Stars. He had a fairly safe strategy to leap over the edge and make it to the end before 21 seconds. That's fast for a blindfolded star.
That's incredible.
He also switched out a couple stars in Hazy Maze Cave to save a bit more time. But beyond the route changes, Z-Surf was simply faster than Bubsy.
Just a better player.
He used more audio cues to his advantage. For instance, in the Bowser stages, he could tell where the rotating platforms were based on what part of the background music was playing.
That's
and just
fucking
all over
crazy.
the run, Z-Surf's strategies were a bit riskier, running up a slope rather than backflipping, and using fewer setups. Meanwhile, as Z-Surf was lowering the Mario 64 blindfolded record, Bubsy was working on other blindfolded games, most notably Pokemon and Kingdom Hearts. He planned to come back to Mario 64 eventually, but if nothing else, these other games were still helping him improve as a blindfolded speedrunner. He picked up on different blindfolded...
I feel like Pokemon Blindfolded is like purely... I feel like you could literally map out the exact... Like a computer could play it, almost. Right? How do you choose moves? Well, I'm assuming... Because in Pokemon, it's not that hard of a game, right? So you pick Squirtle first, and you just spam A.
Strategies and ideas while he played. And as the months passed, Bubsy realized there was one technique that might really help with Mario 64.
I guess in Pokemon, I just feel like there's almost no risk.
Something that would make his movement look much more fluid. Almost like he was playing with his eyes open.
Like there's no mechanical skill. So
Bubsy came back to Mario 64, implementing a trick called beat counting. Beat counting is essentially using the background music's beat as a metronome to time your inputs to. Now, it's important to note that this isn't the same as a music cue. That's where you wait for a specific moment in the song to use as a cue.
Beat counting.
Instead, beat counting is simply having a consistent frame of reference, in this case the beat of the song, to help time different inputs. For example, you can run forward, then know to jump after 3 beats, then press jump again after 4 more beats,
we're very innovative.
So this can help make otherwise
any restriction you put on humans, they'll find
nearly trivial, as it replaces insane muscle memory with consistent inputs. Beat counting was first implemented in Super Mario 64 by a player named Katoon, who used it in his 70-star run. It helped him all over, allowing for fluid movement that looked like a visual player at times. After seeing it utilized in other speed games, Bubsy decided he had to try using it in 16 star. So, in September 2018, he came back to Super Mario 64.
Okay.
He wanted to see how much time he could take off of Z-Surf's record of 1 hour and 58 minutes. How much could beat counting help? Well, right away, Bubsy saved time on the very first star. He picked up a box and navigated into the corner of the gate by beat counting. By then setting it down on top of Mario's hitbox, he got pushed behind the gate and was able to collect the star. This is an obscure old trick known as box clip, and
never
predates
even
the
knew
more
about
traditional
that.
bomb clip used in modern visual.
That's incredibly old school, if true, because all of my tricks are old school. Anyone who's watched me play this game, I have like the oldest Mario speedrun tricks. I still do the fucking Yahoo spinning down. I do the fucking owl full, cannon full. I've never heard a box clip. That must be like literally 2001. I mean, it's an old trick, sir, but it checks out.
Runs. New strategies with beat counting were used throughout the game. Often, these helped big time with consistency as well as being faster. The slide in Cool Cool Mountain was now beat counted, and Bubsy had a safer MIPS grab thanks to beat counting too.
Nice.
But the biggest time saves with beat counting were the Bowser stages, especially Fire Sea. As you recall, this is probably the hardest level in the run. It took Z-Surf over 17 minutes to get through it in his world record.
Yikes.
But here, Bubsy used a beat count for the entire stage developed by Katoon. Highlights included a section in the middle where he navigated without adjusting the camera. Since he couldn't see anyway, there was no point in changing the camera angle. He still knew exactly where to go.
Because this 100% proves he's not cheating. Like there's no, I don't know, fakeness with the blindfold. This is sick.
Bubsy flew through the whole level, and ultimately, he completed it in just 2 minutes.
That's
a 15-minute time
that's
save
awesome.
over Z-Surf.
That's incredible.
That's the power of beat counting.
Okay, can I be honest?
was cruising.
I'll admit it. I don't fully understand beat counting. What the fuck? I don't get it. I don't get it. Hey, you count the beats. So they're listening to the background music. They're counting the beats. But how does that? You just memorize like when to press A, when to press forward. It's almost like Guitar Hero. Like, you know, like as it comes, you go just forward, up, up, up. Okay, interesting. It's like it's a memorized song.
The run was far from perfect, but after demolishing Fire Sea, he knew he was way ahead of
Turning
Z-Surf's
Mario
world
into a
record.
rhythm game is pretty funny.
He couldn't see his exact pace, of course, but he knew it had potential to be a big record. The backwards long jumps went well, and thanks to beat counting and other audio cues, Bowser in the Sky was quick too. Once again, it all came down to hitting this last.
But it also seems like if you get off beat at all, if you make any mistake, then you're truly fucked because you haven't learned any other. So you really have to nail it, which I guess it means, you know, it makes sense as you get more optimal.
Bowser
you just got to be him.
And then he could find out just what type of pace this really was.
Yes! Yes!
Just hire J.K. Simmons.
Sublime! 53 yes! Yes! Yes!
This was ahead of even his wildest
For
dreams.
sub-hour!
Not only was it sub-hour, but it was sub-hour by several minutes.
It's weird that he blocked this out. I'm wondering if chat was saying some weird shit. He put this big black box over the chat. I wonder if they were saying some crazy shit.
Not only was it sub-hour, but it was sub-hour by several minutes. The whole game beaten blindfolded in 53 minutes. The run did have its slow moments. He died a handful of times, and the worst part was when he had to intentionally drown to restart in Dire Dogs.
Offbeat,
but
perhaps.
Being able to cut a world record in half did not happen very often.
That's swag.
This was everything Bubsy wanted and more. Beat counting had changed blindfolded Mario 64 forever. But once again, Bubsy decided this was a good place to stop. Despite there still being room for improvements, he remained interested in exploring other
Been there, buddy, but he comes back. I bet fucking dollars to donuts he comes back.
blindfolded speedruns. So, he stopped playing, and for the next year, his blindfolded world record remained unchallenged. But of course, Bubsy wasn't going to stay away for long. 16-star was his bread and butter. And if you've seen my other videos, generally people who dominate a game can't help but come back to it time and time again. Bubsy wanted to see just how low he could take the blindfolded record.
Until
So,
Poop Weed Man
after a
entered.
10-month break, he spent the summer of 2019 rerouting the run, changing up the stars a bit and trying to optimize his strategies. By August, he was ready to start up runs again. And over the course of just 11 days, he did this.
God damn! He did. Yeah, where's the classic line graph? Summoning Salt. Holy shit, he's doing like the. That's a crazy skip to do blindfolded.
I'm not happy at all.
You know what's funny? It was like, I think speedrunners are often motivated by seeing a run and seeing I could do that better. Like this part was messed up or flawed, and that's what pushes the runs down. But I wonder if you could go back in time. Like if he could go back in time with a 30-minute or whatever, a 40-minute run and do that first, if anyone would ever challenge him. Because I think if you're so far ahead that it seems insurmountable. If they did, it would be a very long time. Because I feel like, especially if he doesn't explain his tricks.
No, wait, it. Are you kidding me?
Don't jump off the side. No. Bro. Lil bro is blind.
Oh my god.
Oh, he's mad? We're like a third into the video, maybe? Something like that? Summoning Salt. New video. Sub 40,
Unbelievable
baby!
grind. Thanks to a combination of beat counting, incredible muscle memory, and a ton of skill, Bubsy had beaten Super Mario 64 blindfolded in under 40 minutes. This run had one big mistake. During MIPS, he got lost and had to quit back to the menu. It cost about 2 minutes, so a 36-minute run would be the limit. But there were no major mistakes anywhere else. 38 minutes was incredible.
I'm very worried that by the end of this video, someone's PB will be better than my PB, but playing with my full eyesight.
Incredibly optimized for this type of run.
Did I do
It
25?
was exactly what he was looking for.
I'll look it up right now. I will just get an answer. Atrtioc, Clint, Mario. Can 5 streamers beat a world record?
Yes!
Oh shit, 25. It was 25.
I fucking did it! Oh yes! I fucking did it! I did it!
That was a heater. That's a heater video. That's a heater video. Clint being like, my chat told me to call you Glizzy Hands. All right, so 25.
Bubsy
25.
really was the king of blindfolded Mario 64. Hardly anyone else had tried it, and those who had were well behind him.
Let's see
He
if
could
they
do
can
with
beat
his eyes
25.
closed what others couldn't do with their eyes open. And this
Surely they
38-minute
won't.
run was his magnum opus. Bubsy was finally done with the grind.
Come
no
on.
one else even approaching
You keep saying
his
that,
times.
but he keeps...
And then, 3 weeks later, something very interesting happened. Completely out of the blue, a
Poop
new
fart.
submission appeared for the Blindfolded Mario 64 leaderboards. The player's name was Nobori56, and he was claiming to have performed a 35-minute blindfolded run, a new world record. Nobody in the community had heard of him before, and having someone brand new instantly claim a big world record was suspicious, to say the least.
Right.
And when the community watched his run, it only got stranger. He wasn't beat counting at all. In fact, it seemed like nearly everything he did was muscle memory. It looked an awful lot like he could see what was happening on screen, at least somewhat. Blindfolded speedruns can be easy.
It would be so fucking funny if I just submit my 25-minute run with like a fucking photoshopped banner on my eyes.
To fake. If you can get any vision through your blindfold, it makes the run
That's
magnitudes
a
easier.
diaper, by the way. Yeah,
This was a tough
exactly.
one to call. Maybe Nobori was just an unbelievable blindfolded gamer. Or maybe he was a cheater. Over the following few weeks, Nobori continued submitting runs, and gradually, everything became clear.
Jesus. Jesus. Jesus!
Nobori was 100% legit, and he was actually that good. So here's the thing with Nobori. He has an absolute knack for developing muscle memory. Once he does a trick with his eyes open, it doesn't take much practice until he can consistently do it without looking.
That's crazy.
Therefore, the idea of beat counting never even entered his mind.
I'll be honest, I would love to see him wear a different blindfold. That one looks like a fucking diaper, and it looks like you can see through it. Because, like, even if you only get the grainiest outline of the colors, it would be such an advantage. I don't think he's cheating. Obviously, he's not cheating, but it's like that would, you know, if he were competing, it would be like annoying to me. You want pitch black. Pitch black is what you want.
And he was able to perform nearly everything faster. Even right from their first movements in the castle, you can see the difference. Bubsy had to set up his moves and work his way to the first door. But Nobori adjusted the camera at the perfect moment to do this.
Sheesh.
Basically indistinguishable from a visual runner.
That's like an actual...
How about getting to Peach's slide?
You're nuts. It's faster than I would do it.
Genuinely impressive, even with eyes open. It was more of the same with the stars. Nobori went for super fast strategies. No beat count setups necessary. Even though he died a few times, the time save for moving faster more than made up for it.
Right.
But as you might expect, the place that Nobori improved the most was the Bowser stages. When Bubsy played Bowser in the sky, he kept moving but didn't do anything too flashy. Super impressive for being blindfolded, but nobody would mistake it for a speed run.
Right.
Nobori, on the other hand...
You're fucking crazy. You're crazy!
Standing left side and elevator skip. It's really hard to believe that all this is possible.
Doing the
while
elevator
blindfolded.
skip
In
blindfolded?
case there's
Check
any
him
doubt
PC,
Nobori
bro.
couldn't see, at the end of every run, he took off his 18 blindfolds. No way anyone could see through all that.
I take it back. I take it back. Oh, fuck, he got me. Oh, fuck, he got me, dude. He's doing 100 shirts. He's stealing my content idea of 100 shirts, but he's doing 100 blindfolds.
He was simply so much better than any other blindfolded player. He was running while the rest were walking. Nobori had achieved a 26-minute blindfolded run of Super Mario 64. Simply inconceivable just a few weeks ago. There's one more moment of Nobori's run I want to talk about. The final Bowser throw right at the very end. This throw had a few different strategies over the years. Bubsy's initial method was to just blindly throw and hope it hit a bomb. But Z-Surf realized that since the whoosh sound occurs at the same time in every spin, you could sync up your joystick to the spinning and know exactly when to release Bowser to hit a bomb.
What? Why can't actual runners do this?
This was the strategy that Bubsy preferred to use, but Nobori took it a step further and used something else that Z-Surf had found. By pausing during the whoosh sound, you could listen to the echo and judge whether or not Mario is facing the bomb. If he's not, then you simply unpause and try again. But if he is, then you can immediately unpause and throw Bowser.
Wait, how do you
You'll
know?
hit the bomb every time. This is a brilliant example of turning a seemingly impossible task, landing a blindfolded Bowser.
He's literally echolocate. Wait a minute. The sound waves bounce off the bomb? I don't hear the echo. What am I-
Bowser's echo and judge whether or not Mario is facing the bomb. If he's not, then you simply unpause and try again. But if he is, then you can immediately unpause and throw Bowser.
Dude's a fucking
It'll hit
bat.
the bomb every time.
That's incredible.
This is a brilliant example of turning a seemingly impossible task, landing a blindfolded Bowser throw, into something relatively consistent. Even though he was miles ahead of everyone else, Nobori still felt he could save time over his 26-minute run. He died.
Sorry, but 26 minutes? Fucking slow. Sorry, I mean, you're impressive. Like, you're good for a kid. Like, whatever, doing the fucking bat method. But a real Chad hits it in 25. And I'm sorry, that's just what it is. There's a difference. There's a gap here between Chads and lads, which is what you are.
Died a couple times and had a particularly slow MIPS grab. So, a few months later, Nobori came back and improved the record to 25 minutes.
Okay, but still.
A run that would have...
Yikes, 25-13? That's like... All right, that 13 seconds, bro. Yikes. Well, 11 seconds because I took about 2. Yikes, bro. And this video is almost over, as we can tell from the bottom, so I don't think I'm getting past anytime soon.
Been even faster had he not failed to grab Bowser's tail and had to redo the fight. And just 2 days after that, Nobori made one more improvement. This run was truly incredible from start to finish. He collected the first 11 stars quickly, with no substantial time losses. He died.
And then he gave up. He said he could never beat the time. Wasn't worth trying anymore, and he ended. And that is the end of Summoning Salt. Brr, brr. Oh, that's not the song. The end. Wow, powerful video. Kind of an abrupt ending than his usual videos, just cutting it off right in the middle of a run, but really, really good.
Died once in Hazy Maze
see what he
Cave,
did.
but
Let's see
it
what he
didn't
did.
cost him badly. His MIPS grab was instantaneous, right in front of the door. His Bowser stages were all fantastic, his BLJs were super quick, and on the last fight, he grabbed Bowser's tail and landed the third throw. No retries needed.
Impressive. Yikes.
24 minutes is a genuinely respectable time with your eyes open. Nobori had optimized this
Yeah, it
run
is.
to insane standards.
25 is, really.
Hard to believe it was all actually possible. As for Bubsy, it was tough to accept what had just happened. He'd been the king of blindfolded Mario 64 for years.
It happens,
and
bro.
Nobori had demolished all of his times. When Bubsy tried doing Nobori's strategies, he could eventually pull most of them off, but his consistency was poor. Definitely not good enough to complete a full run with them. Bubsy had to accept that he wasn't going to be beating Nobori's record. For the next year,
Dude's cracked.
Blindfolded 16
Bubsy
star
played
had
against
no
boulders.
activity. There was no point when
He
the world record
pioneered,
was this
bro.
good.
He pioneered.
Players focused on other categories with less optimized records. And unsurprisingly,
This is what I'm talking about. I mean, obviously someone's going to come back, but like when someone's so far ahead, it puts an icing chilling effect on the scene. People stop running because they're so good. And I think if you could like go back in time and put Nobori's record up, like just nobody even tries. It takes a while for people to cook.
Nobori took the top spot for those too. Just pure domination. But eventually, everything calmed down. Nobori stopped playing, and the rest didn't bother trying to beat his times. It almost felt like he had killed blindfolded Mario 64.
Sheesh.
But then, in October 2020, Bubsy managed to get 16 star into that year's Awesome Games Done Quick. This was the first time anyone would be showing off blindfolded Mario 64 on such a big stage. Bubsy may not have been on Nobori's level, but he wanted to put on a good show.
Sure.
So, he knew he had to get practicing. Bubsy didn't have any illusions of trying to take the record. Instead, he focused on playing for fun, looking for new strategies and not taking things too seriously.
Oh.
And maybe, he can improve a bit on his 38-minute PB. Since Nobori's crazy muscle memory strategies were out of the question, Bubsy focused on beat counting strategies. He found faster ones in Whomp's Fortress and Cool Mountain. And on Bowser in the Sky, beat counting allowed him to make a faster elevator cycle at the start. But despite lots of practice, he was still slower than Nobori, and he was dying more. The improvements slowly started to come in. First, a 37-minute run, and then nearly a month later, a 35-minute run.
It's like Rocky. I feel like I'm watching Rocky, the Rocky movie, where the old veteran is like learning the new tricks, trying to like bring a little bit of his old style, lifting weights.
Both of these had substantial time losses on the BLJs, so Bubsy knew he had the potential to go a few minutes lower. But this is exactly what he was looking for. Even if he wasn't competing with Nobori, it was still nice to see some improvement. And as the weeks passed, Bubsy kept getting better. His movement was faster and he was dying less often. He started going for Lakitu skips sometimes.
Jesus.
It wasn't very consistent, but getting it at all while blindfolded was amazing. He had the chance to close the gap even more.
I mean, that's still a huge gap.
But instead, right after Bubsy's new PB, Nobori came back.
Oh, you're within 6 minutes? I'm going to come back. That's crazy. You didn't even wait for him to... That's bullying. That's bullying, bro. Let's keep the gap big.
He made it seem effortless. Nobori's strategies were somehow even faster than before. To get to the top of Whomp's Fortress, instead of teleporting, he jumped off the slope while sliding to make it up.
Damn.
He switched up a few stars and had a brilliant strategy to hit the Talon Star in Shifting Sandland. And most importantly, it was just incredible that he was doing all this while blindfolded. Occasionally, he'd have a moment that looked obvious, like when he struggled to collect stars that were right in front of him. But he'd turn around the next moment and do something like this. Mind-blowing. Bubsy had improved, yes, but he was not on Nobori's level.
Dude.
It almost seemed like he could lower the record at will. But he decided to stop here. With the world record down to 23 minutes, Nobori had once again killed the competition and blindfolded 16 star. Bubsy knew he wasn't beating this. Nobody was beating.
GG Nobori, nice. You got to put the emote of the dude like crying with the mask in front. Nice. Nice, dude. GG.
Beating it. So instead, he spent much of 2021 focusing on a new challenge, routing a blindfolded 120 star run.
Oh!
This was a massive undertaking, and took up most of his gaming time throughout the year. Yet, even though he wasn't playing the more competitive category in 16 star, working on 120 star still helped him improve at the game. He was optimizing the stars for speed.
I think it'd be so interesting to see, like, I bet if you studied the brain of someone who did this, practices every day, like, you got to imagine that the visual center shrinks and like other parts of your brain expand and light up more. 100% this has to like change the structure of your, like, the spatial, like for example, I saw a study where they studied brains of taxi drivers in London, and after like 20 years of doing the job, their like spatial recognition part of their brain was like fucking bulbous. It's like fucking gigantic. And then, you know, I can imagine that this changes what
Result found some new strategies. For instance, in Bob on Battlefield, he found a consistent setup for Bomb Clip, the iconic trick used to get behind the fence quickly. It saves 20 seconds, and looks pretty darn impressive given its performance.
How the fuck are you doing Bomb Clip blindfolded,
After
bro?
practicing 120 star for several months, Bubsy came back to the game's shorter categories in late 2021, quickly sweeping through each one to lower his PBs. In 16 star, he managed to get a 28-minute run featuring his new tricks.
Very nice.
Still slower than Nobori, especially in the Bowser stages, but a decent improvement. After this, he went back to working on 120 star, and Nobori's record remained as safe as ever. At this point, he'd held the record for more than 2 years.
Damn.
Bubsy hadn't been able to catch him, and nobody else was within 50.
2 years, especially in like more modern, like 2018, 2019 era. That's pretty damn impressive. Although I will say, I don't think if anyone held a speedrun record between 2020 and 2022, I don't think anyone did. And Mario 64 is incredible, but I think once you hit 2020, every speedrun record gets broken like crazy because of the pandemic. People are locked down and they start grinding every game at once. It goes vertical, dude. It's like the stock chart. I don't know if anyone held a record between 2020 and 2022, full 2 years. I don't think, if you find me a game where they did that, that has to be really small, because I think any big game, that's impossible.
15 minutes of him. As 2022 came around, it was really seeming like this was Nobori's record.
I'm sorry, I'm dead wrong. This guy, I thought this was 2018. This guy did this? That's incredible. Well, no, he did it in 19 to 20. Okay, he hasn't done it in 2022 yet, because he's saying as 2022 comes around. But still, to hold it during the pandemic for that's crazy. That's insane.
To keep. He could simply do things with a blindfold on that nobody else could. At least, nobody who had tried so far. The only hope of beating Nobori was somebody new coming along, who had their own set of incredible blindfolded skills.
Poop fart 420.
Someone like Handyman. In late 2021, Handyman became infatuated with blindfolded Super Mario 64. That September, he became just the third person to beat the game blindfolded in under an hour. By January, his time was down to 35 minutes. And by March, he lowered his PB to right behind Bubsy. Impressive improvement from a relative newcomer to blindfolded gaming. Hendy's playstyle was like a hybrid between Bubsy and Nobori. He didn't beat Count with numbers, but didn't fully rely on muscle memory either. Many of his fastest strategies involved music cues. He'd mess around in a level with his eyes open and figure out how to time certain actions to the music. Eventually, he'd find a series of inputs that gave him the best consistency and practice it relentlessly until he could do it blindfolded.
Interesting.
Hendy got really good at this, and it paid off with a 28-minute run. He fell behind Bubsy while collecting the stars since he died a few times, but he was actually faster than Bubsy down the stretch. It was gold split after gold split for Mips, Fire Sea, and Bowser in the Sky. After hitting the last throw on Bowser, he knew he had a big PB.
Let's go!
A couple months later, Hendy got on another good run. It started with both Lakitu Skip and Bomb Flip.
Weirdest Lakitu skip I've ever seen.
Big time in Bowser in the Dark World. Unfortunately, he struggled and then died in Hazy Maze Cave, died twice in Fire Sea, and died on Bowser at the very end. That's 4 deaths. Yet he still PB'd by a full minute and moved ahead of Bubsy into second place.
Yeah, someone said it's funny they don't know the time till the end. That's true, because as a speedrunner, you know, when you fall behind too much, you want to just start over to save time. And it'd be funny in this run if like you made a mistake and you're like, I think I lost too much time, I should start over. But if you try to peek to check, you instantly void it. So like you could still be on good pace, but peek to check and then you lose your great run. That's fucked, which means you have to keep going on a lot of runs that you probably should quit.
Hendy had gotten really good. Despite several minutes of time loss, the rest of his run was so fast that he couldn't help but PB. Hendy's movement and speed was incredible, and it was honestly starting to look a lot like Nobori. The only thing he didn't have was Nobori's consistency. These mistakes made up the bulk of the difference. It was safe to say that Hendy was officially a world record contender. And over the next few months, things would get quite interesting. Hendy started practicing the last few tricks he needed to learn, like standing left side and elevator skip. And most importantly, he worked hard to
that
build
elevator
his
skip is
consistency.
nasty.
He knew that he had the skills to get this world record. He just needed to hold it together for long enough and get it all the
I'm so glad that summoning salt exists, because otherwise someone does something like this and it's like they don't get any reward. You know what I'm saying? You put in years of practice and like 4 guys know about it. But like with summoning salt, it's like this nice trophy that's like, hey, you're honored. They put you in history. You get your story told. I think that's cool. I think that's fucking sick.
lineup in one run.
I don't know what just happened. I think I fat-fingered A. Dude! Yeah!
You did Super Mario 64 16-star blindfolded in 26 minutes.
But I do wonder if, once he makes the video, does it increase the number of runners or decrease it? Because there's no longer a chance to be in a summoning salt video. Increase? Okay. That makes sense. It probably does increase it. That makes sense. People get interested. They want to try it out. Yeah.
You did Super blindfolded in 25 minutes and 11 seconds.
Yeah, no, they definitely stream more, because I remember watching the Lego Star Wars one, and then we had all the runners in chat and they were active, and then after the video came out, they all got better viewership, so they streamed a lot. Yeah, it definitely increases. It definitely increases the runs, 100%.
You did Super Mario 64.
Ooh, he's getting close.
That's 3
Personal
days
best.
in a row.
Improved your run.
Hendy was closing in.
Nabori,
This
wake
was a
up, little bro.
24-minute run with 2 deaths and other scattered time losses throughout. There was easily a minute worth of improvements he could make. But Hendy was getting exhausted. Doing hundreds of runs with your eyes closed gets monotonous, and he enjoyed looking for strategies more than he enjoyed doing runs. So, even though he was so close, Hendy decided to take a break from 16-star.
What?
And instead focus on blindfolded 1-star, an even shorter category. Meanwhile, Bubzia was watching everything Hendy did in 16-star. He was amazed at how close he'd gotten to Nobori. And after completing the world's first blindfolded 120-star run
God
in May,
damn.
Bubzia was ready for a new challenge.
Blindfolded
He'd
120 is
improved
insane.
so much while on the 120-star grind.
That's insane.
And had gotten especially good at searching for new strategies. Bubzia had turned into a new player. His old 28-minute PB in 16-star was in a distant 3rd place. In July 2022,
Can you name the hardest star? No, I don't know. I don't know what the hardest star would be blindfolded. Probably Rainbow Ride, 100 coins or something. Or TikTok Clock 100, maybe. Or Cannonful, the single hardest star of all time. What about Red Coins in the Sky? Yeah, but I think that's part of... Red Coins in the Sky is like part of 100. The people get the red coins for it, so 100 would be harder.
he embarked on a quest to change that. Bubzia still couldn't rely on muscle memory as heavily as Nobori. That meant his gameplay would generally be a bit slower as he had to set things up more. But if he could make up the difference with faster strategies, maybe he had a chance at this.
Oh?
He and Hendy found new tricks all across the run, like triple jumping off the wall while going up top, and long jumping straight across the gap in Dark World. These small improvements began to add up, but the heavy hitters were in the final 2 Bowser stages. Bubzia found a beat count to reach Nobori's elevator cycle in Fire Sea, cutting out his muscle memory strategies while matching his speed. And in Bowser in the Sky, Bubzia decided he had to commit to going for everything. Standing left side, elevator skip, and even doing a triple jump dive onto the rotating platform.
God
Bubsy
damn.
knew this would help make up for some of the speed and movement difference, but would it be enough? That July, he got on a run that fell about 45 seconds behind Nobori after the first 8 stars.
Rocky.
After accidentally quitting out of Lethal Lava Land and missing the star in Dire Docks,
Disaster.
his deficit rose to over 2.5 minutes.
Okay.
But he did manage to gain time on the BLJs and executed his new Bowser in the Sky strategies to perfection. The end result was a 25:49. 2 minutes behind the record and 1 minute behind Hendy.
And 30 seconds behind
Bubsy
Atrtioc.
was a changed player. Look, he hadn't held the record in 3 years now. Nobori had always been just too dominant to beat. But this run was proof that finally, he was fast enough. The world record was within reach. If Bubsy could clean up a couple blunders in the middle of the run, then he could finally get the top spot back.
Would be insane. But then Nobori, I assume, shows up?
Bubsy got off to a great start. He hit all his new strategies through Dark World and had a 20-second lead over Nobori.
Damn.
In Lethal Lava Land, he looked like a visual runner collecting the 8 coins. No hesitations. He nailed getting on the submarine in
Bro, he's like a visual
Docks
runner out there.
and had a beautiful fire seat. All of a sudden, Bubsy had himself a deathless run into the BLJs.
Is that a 3-minute lead? Don't choke. Oh my god. Oh my god. Dude, the pressure to do that trick near the end is crazy. Oh! Wait, did he do it?
Yes!
Let's go! Oh! Damn, 3
After
years
3
of
long
struggle.
years, Bubsy was back on top. It had taken a monumental effort to beat Nobori.
Never count
But it all
Bubsy
paid
out.
off.
That's fucking
He still
incredible,
couldn't use
bro.
muscle memory the way Nobori did. Nobody could. But through years of strategizing and improving, he was able to make up the difference anyway. Congratulations poured in, and Bubsy pondered what to do next. A sub 23-minute run was definitely within reach, but ultimately, he decided a 23:17 was good enough, and moved on to other categories. In the time since
Okay, yeah, but he said that every single time he had the record for like fucking 5 years, bro. All right, so difficult to
this
trust.
run, Hendy and Nobori have been inactive from Blindfolded Gaming. Bubsy, on the other hand, after taking a break for a few months, he returned to 16-star by early 2023. And ever since then, he's been on a quest for a sub 20-minute blindfolded run. Sub 20 is a milestone for visual runners. Taking the blindfolded world record there would be completely insane.
Dude, it would be so sick to have a blindfolded run on the leaderboard for the main game. Like put it in the top, 100 or something. That'd be so. What is top 100? Can I check? If you're just doing 16-star, top 100 is. Wait, am I crazy? Oh, it's 120. I was like, wait, that's like an hour. Top 100 is 15 minutes. Never mind. 15 minutes. Okay, but maybe top 500? No. Top 500 is 17 minutes, 30 seconds. He'd be top 1,000. Maybe. Let's find out. Yeah, he would, I think. Top 1,000, baby. With blindfold, that's pretty impressive.
But that's what Bubsy was determined to do. It all started when Bubsy and Nico, the category's current 4th place runner, began developing a way to perform.
Where does a 25-15 put you? Do you mean mathematically or spiritually? Because obviously mathematically it's not too high up on the leaderboard, but like spiritually it's actually ranked first. Because I was the only runner to do both Cannon Full and the Atrtioc Gambit and the whirly gig to the bottom of Freezy Peaks. So it really is considered the all-time greatest run of all time. All while having Clint chirping in my ear, bro.
Blindfolded LBLJ. This trick is used in top-level visual runs. By jumping into an out-of-bounds area in the lobby, it's possible to then precisely do a backwards long jump that sends you into Bowser in the Dark World, an area that normally requires 8 stars. Once there, you want to collect the 8 red coins to obtain a star, so that you can later head straight to Whomp's Fortress. They found methods to complete LBLJ and the red coins blindfolded, but obviously it was a major difficulty increase. And when combining that with other tricks like Owlless and improving movement everywhere,
People are doing
they
Owlless
reasoned that a
blindfolded?
sub 20-minute run was indeed possible. But possible and realistic are two separate things. In mid-2023, Bubsy decided to make a push for the sub 20. Quickly though, he found that the LBLJ route was far too inconsistent. After abandoning it, he focused on optimizing the rest of the run, and managed to lower the record down to 22 minutes.
God damn, dude.
A minute.
But to get the sub 20, Bubsy knew the LBLJ had to be implemented. In January
Wait, really?
2024, he took another
This-
look at the route with Nico and another community
right
member,
now.
Honeybeef. They realized it would be faster to skip Cool Cool Mountain entirely, adding another star in Shifting Sandland and Lethal Lava Land instead. This saved another 20 seconds, and now, Bubsy felt that he had to commit to LBLJ. The upside was too good to pass up.
Sure.
On February 15th, 2024, Bubsy managed to land LBLJ and the Reds in his fastest time ever.
World records!
He struggled a bit with the new stars, dying once each in Shifting Sandland and Lethal Lava Land. But even still, he was hitting most of his new strategies.
The
He had a
music?
clean Fire Sea, then got both BLJs first try. After flying through Bowser in the Sky, Bubsy had a chance at a big world record.
No!
No, I think I threw it.
No! Damn, he was cruising.
Okay, at least second try, man.
Damn, that's crazy. That would have been so fast if you got a first
A
try.
21-minute run with 2 deaths and a missed throw. It wouldn't have quite been a sub 20, but clearly the run still has room to go lower.
Yeah, no joke.
And this 21:48 is where the record stands today.
Pretty fucking impressive, I'm gonna be honest with you, for Bubsy to be the original guy with the 3 hour and now the guy with the 21 minute. That's actually really sick. That's actually really fucking impressive. To get fucking hoed on by I'm sorry, with the Japanese guy, I forgot his name, for 2 years and then literally grind set come back. It's actually really fucking impressive.
Bubsy is still actively pushing for the sub 20, and if Hendy or Nobori come back,
Nobori, yeah.
they can certainly get there too. It's unreal to see the progression from Bubsy's first blindfolded run 6 years ago to what he and others can pull off today.
Yeah, that's incredible.
They went from barely limping through the game to flying through like a visual runner. All this difference in just 6 years. I don't know about you, but I can't wait to see what another 6 years of progression will do to this run. Thanks for watching. For a behind the scenes look at how I made this video and storylines that I couldn't include, join my Patreon page. I only charge when I upload a video.
How about that? Heat, fire, glass, act, summoning salt, kills it again.